Hey everyone, it's time to start season number 3 of Ask Us Anything About LinkedIn. This is me, Alex, and today I will be the host. I'm taking the stage over from Didi, who is traditionally our host, but who we have together with us today. It's Didi, of course. We started with her. We have Teddy as well, and Emmanuel. How are you guys? How's your summer?
It
Summer's
was
been
a
amazing. Actually, summer for me was amazing. For us, I think we can conclude that it was amazing because we basically did a lot of preparation for the autumn season. I am personally very proud of our teamwork, and I'm also very proud that we are launching a lot of new things. So hopefully everyone who's watching now and people that subscribe to our pages and our channels will see them very soon. Didi, how was summer on the coast of Bulgaria?
Interestingly, you said that you had an amazing summer, having in mind that you didn't have a break at all, which is something to be fixed, hopefully,
Next week.
next week. Be prepared. I was at the concert of Sheeran, which was the highlight of my summer. I'm completely honest. That was amazing, and I feel inspired to go into the new season with fresh new strength. Emo, how about you?
I guess I'm the last one. Yeah, to be honest, I haven't spoken in English for probably ages now, since the last Ask Us Anything. So it feels kind of strange to go back to the basics of having those live streams. But the best is yet to come, as one famous singer once said. My summer was intense. You already mentioned that we have been preparing some great stuff. I assume that everyone is resting, is taking time off during summer. However, me personally and our team, we were on the verge of a very important and very interesting campaign. So stay tuned for them in the near future. I took some time off as well. Similar to Didi and to Alex, he didn't mention, but he was traveling in Asia. So yeah, I took my 1 week off, which was refreshing, which was interesting as a new experience, and yeah, looking forward to my next adventure next month.
Hmm.
Alex, if you're speaking,
I
we cannot
believe
really
that
hear you.
he's telling a really great
You should
joke.
be okay
Yeah,
now. And it's time for your first adventure, Emo.
you're still muted, I think.
Yeah.
I
Still
I
no?
know you for some years and I can read lips, but still for the rest of our audience, I think now we can hear you.
How about now?
Yeah,
I
it's way
love
better.
it. I love it. Yeah, every time this happens. So back to Emo, since it's time for your next adventure, not next month, but just today, right now. What have you prepared for us today?
Actually, when you, because probably the audience doesn't know, but you have a button to go live. And when you were pressing go live, I just had another topic which came into my mind. So I will kind of mix them, the already prepared one and the one that just showed up in my mind. Firstly, let's discuss what was already prepared and kind of discussed, as probably nobody is surprised. I have found a very interesting report. It's from HubSpot, and I have highlighted three main, let's say, points, kind of statistics. HubSpot has interviewed a lot of B2B marketers. I cannot say a precise number as they didn't share it in the report. However, there are three interesting insights from this report, which I find very surprising at some point. So I decided that it would be greatly to discuss them within this brief meeting. The first one is 74% of interviewed B2B marketers share that they can share data into meaningful insight. Like they can transform this data they have from LinkedIn, from the other campaigns they're having, into some insights, while the other 26% aren't quite sure about that. Mm, the interesting part is that this is like two-thirds of the interviewed marketers can pretty much interpret this data and can drive some conclusions, which is for me surprising that such big amount of people can do this. As from my personal point of view, the hardest thing in the marketing is to drive conclusions based on data. As marketers, we work with data every single day, but the most complicated thing I believe is to give exact guidelines and conclusions based on the informations we're having. So, Alex, what do you think about this overview? Do you believe that 75%, let's say, from the Bulgarian marketers, if we go to this perspective, can drive any conclusions from this data they're having, or it's probably a bit off for our current region?
Well, of course, if you have a data, and against that, if you have some sort of, I don't know, maybe emotions, impressions, personal impressions, it's hard to compare, definitely. But what we currently know is that, especially after the Digital Markets Act went active for the European Union half a year ago, it's becoming more and more difficult for digital marketers, especially for B2B digital marketers, to measure data, to attribute, to detect intent. So, yeah, it is a huge problem. And in fact, we've been, as you mentioned in the beginning, we've been preparing some stuff and we've been trying to combine different data from different sources in order to measure the success of the campaigns we're currently running for some of our partners. And maybe, Emo, it's the right time to share the secret that we're working on a software that will help us attribute much more precisely the results and the data from LinkedIn campaigns that we've been running. And Linkin Park
Yeah, I just got that in my mind as well.
keep coming. But maybe we can talk about their new lead singer later in the live session. But yeah, attribution seems to be, and measurement, of course, seems to be problem number one for B2B marketers right now, and it's not a surprise to see such data even on HubSpot's recent report. What else?
Yeah, actually, this is great that you have mentioned this software. So I believe that with such softwares, we can improve our qualities into data analysis, into driving any conclusions, any decisions based on data. So the software probably will be um, a huge success for the field of marketing in Bulgaria and abroad. Of course, the second highlight, which is really interesting, is that it's about the core basics of marketing. It's about the customer journey, and 73% of the interviewed B2B marketers share that they understand their customer journey, while the other 27% either cannot or still are at the fence of driving those conclusions about their customer journey. And considering the fact that we're working with different and unique companies, we have great partners. I believe that Teddy is pretty much diversified into the partners she's having under her control, kind of. So, Teddy, do you believe that the customer journey is really essential into marketing these days, considering the AI, all the improvements, or it's still something that like outdated, probably.
I wish it was outdated, and I wish that we could replace the human touch with AI completely, but that is not the truth. What I have found in our journey in helping our partners is that if you do not understand the customer's journey, you cannot help the company. You can't provide them with the right strategy, because ultimately your goal, and the company that came to us, their goal is to have more customers or to improve the customer experience. So you need to have a lot of there's a lot of psychology in marketing. I have always said that marketing for me is part psychology and part data science. So you need both. As Alex said, we always try to step on data in order to make our decisions. But if you want to capture the attention of the customer, you need to have psychology. You need to understand how they think and how they move from point A to point B and far down the map. We have talked extensively about the customer's journey before, and we keep on talking about this among us because the customer journey evolves in the same way as generations of customers evolve. It is no longer a linear experience. It's very diverse, and it is very very important for us to keep up with the times and with the trends. So reports like this one actually are a very good way to measure where we are and how our own perception of what we can do correlates with the perception of other marketers. Overall, I believe that it is very important for us to continue to study the customer journey and to know that the journey in of a customer in one industry can be very different from the journey of a customer in different industry. So again, one size does not fit all. This, I think, is why we have such a difference in data, where some marketers are very, very convinced that they understand their customer journey, and others may not. I don't know. How do you feel actually about this? Because you and I, we have different experiences.
I believe that currently customer journey is more neglected than ever, honestly, as with all those automations. I'm currently some background information about my current vocation. I'm currently at my university, and I was just at the defense of some bachelor and master thesis this morning, and one of the students talked about human perception in her buying intentions, and she mentioned the like 7 or 8 different types of psychology that influence the customer journey and the buying intentions. And one of the professors next to me just said, "Wow, is it really that much of psychology into everything we're doing?" So I guess that it's still kind of blunt whether it's a must or not, but it's definitely a fact that we shouldn't neglect throughout our I don't know marketing strategies, phases, campaigns, whatever. And yeah, Alex, sorry.
Yep, I just wanted to add that we can combine this one with the previous topic. Uh, since you have a nonlinear buyer journey in B2B currently, and the situation has been such for years now. You have a nonlinear buyer journey. You have a constantly expanding buying committee, which means you have the C-suite, you have different specialists that sometimes make the initial research, and in fact, you need to be able to measure each step, whether someone's been visiting your service page, the service page is on the website, or some landing page, or they engage in a way with your content on LinkedIn. And this is a data that not many, let's say, technologies or softwares can combine still, even though there are more and more such softwares, it's still hard enough.
By the way, thank you for mentioning landing pages, and thank you, Teddy, for mentioning the word correlation, as this pretty much leads us to the last insight I wanted to share, and the floor will be next to Didi, as I will be asking her a direct question based on our recent activities yesterday. The insight shows that 44% of the marketers most commonly try to generate leads with landing pages, and following up this trend, 39% of marketers share that videos on landing pages impact positively on the conversion rates. Did you considering the fact that yesterday we had a video for an event that you will be attending, actually as a guest speaker next month in the beginning of it on on the 5th of October. Do you believe that videos are important? And in your personal point of view, do you believe that videos are important in the landing pages? Would you trust a company more if there is a video, or that wouldn't make such a difference for you?
Thanks for mentioning the event, which both of us will attend 5th of October. If you're in Varna, or if you're willing to travel to Varna, feel free to do so and register for the Omni Social Conference. Actually, I would go a step backwards. In your question mentioning the need for a landing page itself. Sorry for going back to the basics, but in fact, that's a question that has come out in our conversations with clients, where they want, for example, ad campaign for their project event or whatever it is. Sometimes we have the conversation about whether a landing page is needed at all, not to mention what's to be on that landing page. First of all, it goes back to the data analysis, which we started with. It's pretty important to um, have enough resources to analyze, and with the landing page, that's possible. So I would say that the basics is important, and if we have a video on the landing page, that would pretty much be a good engagement resource. As we all know, the video is on its verge, and it's becoming more and more popular with differentiations only in the format, in the length, and some other characteristics of the video, but still it's one of the most compelling way to convey your message to your audience. So yeah, I would definitely count on a video at a LinkedIn page, at a landing page, sorry, and I think it's worth trying at least. After all, we all know that experimenting and testing different formats and different parameters is key to finding the right thing for our audience, for our industry, etc.
As Winnie the Pooh once said, the more, the better, ain't it? Thank you for your insights currently. I'll be really looking forward to hear more on the 5th of October, so stay tuned. Probably we will be having some recordings, probably a video, why not? So yeah. And actually, I just saw the schedule we are having, and apparently the floor is back to you, as you want to share something important further on.
Yeah, maybe I will go back to my moderator.
Apologies.
Yeah, it's my prerogative today. I just wanted to mention once again, it's a topic that tends to appear throughout the conversation today. Since watching a video, clicking, scrolling, and reaching to a certain part of a landing page. These are all signals that we can currently measure in order to detect whether we're reaching the right audience and are the people we're somehow inviting to our websites. In fact, the people we want to influence throughout our content on LinkedIn, especially on LinkedIn. So, Didi, we're all looking forward to your lecture, but now it's time to go to your topic and what you have prepared for us today. It's another report. So yeah, back to you now.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Actually, the summer is obviously quite appropriate time to go out with some reports. Probably people have some more time on the beach to read some longer texts, or at least that's something that I spent some time during my short break. So the report I want to mention today is quite interesting for me. It's again about the B2B marketing. It's called the 2024 B2B Marketing Benchmark report produced by LinkedIn and Ipsos. And it highlighted the importance of creative tactics for B2B ads. Something which comes out time and again. It's not surprising, as previously Emo said about the statistic he mentioned. Here I don't see anything surprising, but it's still important for me um, to speak about that, the creative part of B2B, the B2B world as a whole, because we know that people constantly um, make associations with boring, more functional stuff, um, clear numbers, things that just don't grab anybody's interest and can't excite anybody. And that's not the B2B world we want to live in. And that report highlights exactly this because let me see the numbers. We saw that 90% of the CMOs advocate for more creative campaigns based on what they see on the platform, and 67% are increasing actually their budgets on brand building efforts. So we see another report, which is inspired by that report, and that was done again by LinkedIn and with Magna Media Trials. They both surveyed 1,700 LinkedIn users, asking them to estimate what they want to see as ads content. And their research is called the B2B Renaissance Drivers of B2B Ads Effectiveness. Now, we see some interesting data here. The main goal of the research was to uncover how creativity can help and support both brand and bottom line growth. So one of the outcomes is that B2B ads often overwhelm decision makers, showing them dull, boring, lacking emotional and humor ads. And it turned out that the most effective ads include humor, strong visuals and colors, and guess what? Animals. Uh, Probably that doesn't surprise you if you go back in your mind and think of really creative ads that you've seen. And maybe if you think of the mops that LinkedIn, well, I'm not sure what was the dog breed, but it was a nice Ringo dog that LinkedIn used a couple of years ago, uh, speaking about LinkedIn as the place to make business. Um, Something else that we also see in that report is that creativity is also lacking across industries. So it doesn't really matter in which industry the advertiser is in. It's a common problem. So um, actually, everybody should stress on that. And here, I would ask Katie whether she has some personal impressions on the creativity part of ads, and whether she has some some good practice maybe to share here.
Well, in fairness, there is always a battle when we are creating ads for different partners of ours. There's a battle between creativity, what we know is going to capture the attention of the audience, and what the companies very often perceive as being effective. A lot of times it is a battle, as you said, between humor and what people think that their potential customers want to see. One of the things that we are always trying to put forward is the dynamic of the ad, the feeling that it will give. And it's not just about ads, it's actually about any type of content that we are creating for the different partner, because a brand very much relies on the feeling it leaves in the customers, in their audience. Yes, of course, the product and the benefits of it really do matter in the overall decision making, but people do remember feelings. We know this. It's an age old rule. So when creating ads, as the report shows and all research shows, it is very, very important to actually take into consideration this initial feeling that you create in the audience. As we can see in the same report, music, again, this is something that we very, very often tell our partners: music matters. It can drive brand awareness. It can actually create a long lasting feeling after you have watched a particular piece of content. So all these things must be taken into consideration when creating the strategy for your next ad. So, of course, it is very important to try and be effective, and we have some ground rules for effectiveness, but overall the focus should move from functionality, and we need to embrace creativity, because you will remember a creative ad, you will go and you will learn more about the brand, rather if you just see an ad, the next ad that looks like every other ads out there. So this is basically what we are advising our partners, and I think it's important for all of us to remember it.
Thanks, Katie.
Yeah,
Um,
I would add something again.
mhm.
During the summer, LinkedIn introduced one pretty cool type of measurement. And if people go to Campaign Manager and on the engagement column, when you're measuring your active campaigns, there is a cool filter called average dwell time, which means that now on almost every type of LinkedIn ads, especially on images and videos, you'll be able to learn how long your average user is watching your ad. And from our experience, it's usually between 2.7 to 3.1 seconds. So this golden rule that's been around for a few years now, that the first 3 seconds always matter on your LinkedIn ads, on your social media ads whatsoever. We have it here on LinkedIn as well. So the music matters, but also be sure that you have the right message and your main message to the audience you're targeting in the first 3 seconds of the video. Then, Didi, any other data that you would like to share from those reports?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Alex. Actually, I wanted um, to go with the main outcome. It's something. Sorry, it's about the main outcome, which is related to the sorry to the emotional connections which we make as with our ads, something which is relevant not only with the B2C ads but with B2B ads as well. Storytelling is especially important, and providing unique perspective. So that's these are the most important things which we can take out from the report.
Okay, then it's Teddy's turn now. And since we're talking emotions, emotions are, I don't know, it's usually a strange topic for me when someone says, when you're at the office, when you're at work, emotions should stay, as we say in Bulgaria, right before the front door. So the
Out the door.
emotions have no place in the office, which I think is a total nonsense. Uh, Plus, uh, we have emotions on LinkedIn as well. And we have certain types of behavior, and we have the freedom for every member to behave, of course, professionally, but however it suits them. Uh, and it happens that there are too often occasions where people are punished for their LinkedIn behavior. Uh, it's something that our viewers and listeners don't know, of course, but each morning we receive a special LinkedIn report with interesting articles, blog posts, etc., dedicated to LinkedIn. And I don't know, maybe at least twice a week we have articles from online media, sometimes in newspapers, based on what happened to a certain person after they published or did something on LinkedIn. So, how's this been going in the last few weeks? And I think we have one more thing to discuss there for another kind of punishment for some LinkedIn behavior.
Uh, yeah, this is actually something that I discussed with Didi right before we came on live, because she drew my attention to a very viral story that was happening, and again, it was all over the briefings that we receive. But for me, it didn't catch my attention because I have been seeing these sort of things quite a lot in the recent years, especially when it comes down to Gen Z employees that use the social media and LinkedIn in a very different way that my generation of millennials or the generations before me, they use. So the thing is, this whole topic was brought because of a woman that was actually fired from her startup for liking a post on LinkedIn. Now we need to emphasize that this employee, she alleges that this was why she was fired. We never know. I mean, the only thing that we know is that employee situations are always complicated, but the thing is that she alleges that this was why she was fired. She simply liked a post that was discussing a topic of toxic work culture. Therefore, her employer thinking that maybe she was, in a way, tarnishing company's reputation. So she was dismissed from work. Now, this is something that, again, I have heard to happen. People claiming that they have raised some opinions on the professional network, and because of the interesting way, here, as every employee is seen to be an ambassador of their company and the brand, this is a bit of a touchy topic. Um, and here is the difference. On LinkedIn, you are yourself. You stand up with your opinion, and you stand up um, with your views and your thoughts, but you stand up to a large capacity in your professional state. You are closely associated with the brand you're working with. You are associated with the rest of your colleagues, and especially when there is an opinion that criticizes the company, it is very evident that companies may not like this. We Alex and I, we have discussed this when it comes down to political opinions, and here our opinion differs greatly, because I am a very private individual and I do not share a lot of my thoughts on politics, on um, basically my political views. I keep them out of social media, because this is my personal choice. However, I have always admired Alex because he firmly believes that politics has a place on LinkedIn. So I'm gonna return back the question to you. Do you think there is a right way for employees to maintain their ground when it comes down to their personal beliefs, whether it's politics, whether it's how businesses run, whether it's economics, and still put that on LinkedIn in a way that it reflects their own belief, but also does not have this conflict with tarnishing the reputation of the company?
Well, that's definitely a tough choice, and it's not just a cliche, since, of course, we're all individuals on LinkedIn, but we're professionals, and this is the network, the social media channel that has the tightest link from a single person with their LinkedIn profiles and their, let's say, employer, the company and their company page. So, yes, everything you write on LinkedIn might be attributed um, to your company, even though as you already mentioned, I think that politics has a place on LinkedIn, and definitely LinkedIn is the right place for politicians and for citizens, of course, to discuss topics like uh, economic policies, like social policies, like I don't know, maybe some budgeting stuff, of course, if they're expert. And let's face it, politics um, always reflects on the way we live and the way we work, especially. And when it comes to some recent changes, like the way artificial intelligence reflects the state of work, um, we in Bulgaria had recently discussions and new legislation about working from home and working out of the office. So there are always new topics that are currently coming. Some emergency here. Sorry if you're hearing that. But just to go back to if or when or why should people um, declare publicly their political opinions. What if Taylor Swift was on LinkedIn? What would she have uh, posted on her LinkedIn profile? Diddy, I know you're kind. Diddy, sorry, Teddy. Teddy. I think you're kind of a Swiftie, so if Taylor Swift was on LinkedIn, what she wrote a couple of days ago after the debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump.
Yeah, that was actually quite interesting because in her she made this post on Instagram and across her social media where she says she educates herself a lot on politics. She actually became quite vocal last elections when she declared that she supports the Democrats, especially in her state of Tennessee. But what she said in her statement, I believe it was very interesting because she stepped on the ground of AI generated version of herself endorsing the other candidate, endorsing Donald Trump, which obviously, as her statement claims, it's not something she would do. So this was an interesting thing. I don't believe personally, keeping up with her career, I don't believe that if that deep fake of her had not been published, I don't believe that she would have made this very public statement endorsing the Democratic candidate in the face of Kamala Harris, because she obviously didn't endorse Joe Biden when he was running before that. But it is very on brand to Taylor Swift to endorse a female candidate and to stand up for the Democratic Party. But I believe that if she was on LinkedIn, the thing that she would focus the most would be the economical significance of her tour and basically the economical effect that this massive influx of people has to the economy. And it's a funny thing because we help Forbes Bulgaria on LinkedIn. We have been achieving great results with them. Especially Didi has been very working with them quite closely. And Forbes Bulgaria actually had a very large article in their last issue, their previous issue, when they were discussing exactly the economics behind Taylor Swift, how she releases the albums, and what the growth of her tour is. So yeah, it's always funny to think about celebrities outside and in LinkedIn because we tend to think of LinkedIn of place to put ourselves in, and once you're out there it's like you don't need to use LinkedIn. But I think it's very interesting to see that. And on the topic of people who are well known but are seeking something else, I kind of wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about the open to work badges? Because going back to Forbes, there was a very interesting think piece from yesterday whether professionals, especially well known professionals, should use the open to work banner on their profiles. I, on one hand, strongly admire people who put the open to work banner because one, it shows that you are open to a lot of opportunities, and on the other hand, it shows that well you do know the platform well enough to use the advantages of it. Now, in this article, it was very interesting because they have surveyed multiple participants in the professional network, and after putting up the banner they say that they started to receive more offers and also more in-mail requests from recruiters. But on the other hand, some people might think that it screams as desperation. Oh, I am desperate to work. I do not have anything going on. I'm not on demand. So, what do you guys think, especially thinking in the context of someone who's not a young professional, but more of a acclaimed individual on LinkedIn. Uh, Emma, what do you think as a someone who has a lot of advice, more focused on personal branding?
I feel tempted to join this conversation in the past 10 minutes, honestly, especially when you were speaking about the lady from the Gen Z community. Let's call it a community now. That was fired up after her approach. Um, what do I think about the open to work batch? Actually, it's really interesting, and it's probably a topic for greater discussion. But does open to work means only open to, for example, full-time or part-time uh, like um, work, or does it mean that you are open to um, any opportunities that may face you? For example, new connections, um, new events that you want to attend, new mutual collaborations with people, as this is at some point uh, persuaded as work itself as well. So for me, it's kind of double. It's more or less open to work in the world of LinkedIn is pretty distinctive. A sentence that you are currently looking for a job, but I believe that it shouldn't be accepted that white-hearted, and we should always have like a second thought. That it really means that you are open to work, or you're just open to anything that may face and anything that may challenge you in your personal, professional, even corporate life. As you mentioned, more acclaimed LinkedIn profiles and stuff. Actually, that's really interesting. Recently, I have been scrolling through LinkedIn. Surprise, surprise! And I have, I'm laughing because you currently can. I'm giving some context. I think it would be great. You currently cannot see the others, but when I said that I'm scrolling through LinkedIn from time to time, everyone started laughing at the background. So yeah, um, I saw a person who I believe is a chairman or a member of a board of directors who put his open to work signature. I cannot really remember his name, and due to GDPR, probably purposes, we're not going to show him anyway. But it's really interesting that person of his, let's call it greatness and his experience, um, actively and freely share that he is open to something, whether it's opportunities, whether it's work, whether it's I don't know, new people in his life, like members of his team and etc. And speaking about open to work, it's pretty much connected with the last topic, which I really wanted to elaborate my point of view as a representative from the Gen Z community in the world. Um, it's a matter of question. What's freedom of speech? As I have faced it in my previous previous companies I have been working with, in the same thing. I have been limited to what I can say, to what I can publish, to what I can actually express through my personal profiles. I have been pretty much um, I have been banned from talking about specific topics. I have been multiple times. There was meetings because of things I have said or done, which I believe is honestly for me it's absurd. As talking from the personal profile of yours means that it's your personal opinion and it shouldn't be connected to the company one. Um, well, people tend to connect people with their companies and employees with their companies, but in fact, the opinion stays to the person, and the opinion of the rest of the company, of the rest of the employees, is something different that probably we can talk about next time. And
This
Um,
is actually very interesting
mhm.
that you are mentioning that there is a company discussion on something that you said that you posted, because when we go and we have trainings with different companies, we usually try to give advice to what people can post, and how they can keep well, the company secrets and the company brands and the good face of the company, but still be themselves on LinkedIn, because this is actually very important to have clear lines between what is acceptable to be shared and what is not acceptable to be shared on LinkedIn, because as you said, Emo, it's very important to be yourself on the platform, but also from a company perspective, everything that you do reflects on the company. So what we usually give as sort of an outline is to, most importantly, remember what information you are not supposed to share. We sign a lot of agreements. Sometimes we forget that they are so extensive, but we signed a lot of agreements to sort of keep not just our corporate know-how, not just what is happening in our own company, but also in our partners' companies. And especially for us as marketers, we go very deep into our partners' businesses, their inner workings. So I believe in for us as professionals, it's even more important to always be presented as someone who will keep your brand's let's say private information, your inner workings. And we also have this sort of rule that we do not share know-how and secrets from our other partners, and we have seen throughout years that this has been building a lot of trust. But yeah, there are things that we are not supposed to be sharing on a professional network, and I believe the advice that I always give, because I believe this to be very true, is that if you are not going to share this piece of content that you want to share in front of your colleagues, in front of your partners, then you should not be sharing it on LinkedIn. And there are examples from, let's say, team buildings. We are all having dinner, and we're just having a picture with a lot of drinks, a lot of dishes. Now, I do not believe that this is presentable. It's not that we all need to be suited up when we're on LinkedIn, but there is some sort of grace that needs to be upheld. Another thing is very, very private moments from the life of a company. There are designated areas who should not be shared. All these things for me are very, very important. And another thing that you can disagree with that, but I never write in anger, and we advise everyone to never write in anger and or in high emotions, because what you have written on the internet, contrary to um, maybe some people believing, it stays for a very, very long time. So what you write from your own personal perspective will stay there for a very long time, and you need to be very, very convinced that what you're putting out is what you're going to stand for a very long time ahead. I know this is very different than maybe what Gen Z is thinking, because you are much more emotional on social media than maybe me. So,
Yeah, definitely everyone has an opinion on that. With the most of the things you have said, I can say that I do agree. There is just let's say a question for thought for the audience and for everyone in this meeting. You mentioned earlier, I'm quoting you here, it is not accepted as appropriate. And my question is, who defines what's acceptable and what's appropriate in LinkedIn? Is there a guidebook that defines this is acceptable, this is not acceptable, or it's a matter of personal belief? And the last thing I'm going to say, probably in the current discussion, is that the companies are pretty much um, like they face this in inappropriate manner due to their brand reputation, brand image, and so on and so forth. But this is, as I said, a topic for much wider conversation, which we can eventually start probably on the next live stream. But yeah, let's wrap it up with this topic, especially.
Yeah, I want to answer to what you have just said. Who makes the rules? Well, on one hand, the company makes the rules. As the employer, a lot of companies, especially large companies that employ a variety of people from different backgrounds, with different experiences, and with different years on the job, they very often will make these sort of handbooks that basically say what the employee can very well share on the professional network and what they should not be sharing. This is actually something that I think it's very thoughtful from the employer's perspective, because not every employee is confident enough to share, but on the other hand, they do want to be able to talk about their work. So we have helped quite a lot of companies by developing these sort of handbooks for them, and we have seen the results. People very often, they can surpass your expectations if you only give them the roadmap. If you don't give them the map of how they can level up and improve their branding, their personal brand, well, they will probably not going to achieve the same great results that will ultimately impact not just them as professionals, but also the company. Another thing, um, another thing that I believe is very important on the matter of who makes the rules is that we make the rules, not just us here as a LinkedIn marketing agency. I mean us. Um, our participations in discussions is very important. So the content that we are engaging in is the content that we are empowering on LinkedIn. So this is basically what I want to tell everyone who's watching this live, that and this is my takeaway: participate in the content and in discussions that you want to see more of. Engage with ads that are creative and that you want to see more, so that you give your opinion. This is sort of the voting system of every social media. What you endorse is what you're going to see more. So yeah, we are the one who make the rules, in my opinion.
Well, that's a great way to end today's discussion. And I hope that for everyone who has watched this live and who will be watching the recordings and especially listening to this live as a podcast on your preferred podcast platform, uh, of course, you know that Didi is closing always these sessions. So, Didi, back to you.
Thanks, Alex. That's the cherry on top of the cake. So I'd like to thank everyone who listened or watched this live stream. I'm using the chance to invite you to the next one, which is on the 4th of October. You know, we do these live streams on the first Friday of the month. This one is an exception because we had a national holiday. So you have 3 weeks to think of the questions you want to ask You can do it during the stream or email us at create@bookmark.bg. Feel free to be yourself on LinkedIn. And as Teddy said, engage with the quality content which you want to see more. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.